Hello class, and welcome to day 2 of section 1.4, which covers dimensional analysis. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to convert quantities and measurements from one unit into another. If you remember from 7th grade, we touched on this for quite a few days, but dimensional analysis is the process of converting measurements and units from one quantity to another. So for example, from going from feet to inches, or from going to miles to centimeters, or from miles per gallon to liters per kilometer. So we're trying to convert those values from one unit to another. One of the tools for this is going to be this conversion chart. On this left side, you'll see listing the customary, aka the US measurements, to metric measurements, and on this right side, vice versa, starting with the metric and going to the customary measurements. When you get to class, I will have this printed off for you. You will each get one copy of this, but I would advise you to take a screenshot of this part and have this information with you while you are solving the remainder of the problems in this video. When you get your sheet in class, you're going to want to add these 3 values up top to help you out. Another thing that we need to remember when converting units is the metric stairsteps. So remember that this is a way for us to convert within the metric system, and our prefixes are kilo, hecto, deca. Right here is the unit, which is going to be meters, liters, or grams. And then getting into the smaller units, we have deci, centi, and milli. Remember, when you are using this chart, if you move left to right, the decimal moves right. So for example, if I'm converting 2.6 meters to centimeters, that jumps me down 2 stairs, so I would move the decimal twice, and say that 2.6 meters is 206 centimeters. If you are moving from right to left, then the decimal moves left. So for example, if I was going from 50 millimeters to kilometers, I'd be moving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. So I would move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So using those stair steps, it's just moving the decimal left and right, and this is just converting within the metric system. So now for a few examples of converting between the two systems. We're going to start by converting 6 miles to kilometers. So you're going to want to refer back to that chart, and you will see 2 potential options for what you can use. It says 1 mile equals 1.609 kilometers, or a second one says that 1 kilometer is equal to 0.621 miles. It does not matter which conversion factor you use. You just have to pick one. I'm going to show you that both are going to get you to the same answer. So if I pick my first conversion factor, I would say 6 miles. And setting up my chart, my starting information always goes in the top left. We need to have a matching unit diagonally so that those can cancel out. And then 1 mile is equal to 6.09 kilometers. Every time you add in values, what's on the bottom and what's on the top has to be equal distance, equal weight, equal size. These 2 values have to be equal. We cancel out our miles now, and then we multiply to finish our problem. So 6 times 1.069 is going to give me 9.654, or approximately 9.65 kilometers, rounding to 2 decimal places. If I use the second conversion factor. Still a similar setup. We still start with our 6 miles, and then we still need to put in our values so they cancel out. In this case, we've got 6.21 miles on the bottom and 1 kilometer up top. We're going to still multiply, but now I've got 6 over 0.621. I would type that into my calculator, and after I do that division, I get an answer of 9.661, etc. After rounding, my final value is 9.66 kilometers. So you can see with either conversion factor, my answer is similar, and there's just a little bit of a difference with the rounding, which is totally fine. So you can use either conversion factor on the chart. Go ahead and try this one on your own. When you convert, you should end up with an answer of roughly 340.2. If you use the other conversion factor, it should be very similar. The next thing we're going to look at is when we've got more than one unit and we are trying to convert. So it says the average teenager spends about $1,042 per year on clothing or fashion-related items. How much is this per week? So when we've got this word per in here, that's going to indicate to you that when you're setting up your problem, there's going to be something on the top and something on the bottom. Whatever goes on top comes before the word per. So in this case, $1,742. What comes after 1 year goes on the bottom. Now, when you are trying to figure out what to convert, we need to look at our question. And it says, how much is this per week? So it's not asking us to change the dollar value, it's asking us to change the amount of time. So we need to line this up, and we know that 1 year is equal to 52 weeks. Those are equal quantities. So we need to multiply across now, which is going to give us 1,742 over 52. And when we plug that value into our calculator, we get 33.5. So our final answer then would be $35.50 per week. So we converted our years into weeks. Go ahead and try this one on your own. In this case, we were converting hours into minutes. There's 60 minutes in an hour. We do our division and get 12.67 miles per minute. The last thing we can do with unit conversion or dimensional analysis is if we have to convert both values. So a skydiver is traveling at about 176 feet per second. If there are 5,280 feet in a mile, what is their speed in miles per hour? So we're going to want to go through and start by setting up our problem. Again, paying attention to that word per. So we've got 176 feet per 1 second. It does not matter since we are converting feet into miles and seconds into hours. You can do either conversion first. I usually like to start with the one on top. So I'm going to get feet into miles, and based on what the problem tells me, there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Now we also need to get seconds into hours. If you look back on that conversion chart that I gave you at the beginning of this lesson, it said that there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So what has happened now is we've converted our feet into miles and our seconds into hours, which is what we want for our answer. To finish solving this problem, we need to multiply all of our values going across on both the top and the bottom. So 176 times 1 times 3,600 gives us 633,600 over 5,280. when I finish doing that division, I'm going to end up with 120 miles per hour. Go ahead and try this one on your own. In this case, we had to do a little extra conversion. You had to go from feet to inches, from inches to centimeters, and then our hours we converted into seconds, giving us a speed of 7.62 centimeters per second. If you have questions about this or anything else from the lesson, please let me know when you get to class.